of Business Express 981 and Smooth 98.1. My name is Valentine. Good morning, gentlemen. In the studio, I have Afolabi Benro of Stanbic IBTC. Good morning, Afolabi.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Welcome. And Ugudre of
Good
Nairametrics.
morning, sir.
Ugudre, we'll have gist after the show, I'll tell you.
Mm.
Latest things
Oh,
coming
yes.
up. All ears. Number to send your WhatsApp messages to 0809 That is our WhatsApp number. All right, so save it now so you can send messages as we go along to continue the conversation. 0809 We're streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to our link at Smooth 981 FM. On Twitter, send that message with that hashtag Business Express 981. All right. The Nigerian Stock Exchange saw its second worst drop of the year yesterday, maybe because of the holidays, down by 0.84%. For the record, the worst drop of the exchange this year was on the 11th of July, when the market declined by 1.86%. So far this year, the market is down by 13.83%. So, gentlemen, all the talk yesterday on the global financial crisis was about yield curve inversion in America. First, I'd like you to explain, let us understand, Afolabi, let's understand the yield conversion, what it means, yield curve inversion. And then, with all the nervousness around financial markets in America, Europe, and Asia, is this something we should care about here?
Cool. A yield curve is basically a line that plots yields across different maturities. So what you typically find is that for the longer term maturities, you typically have a higher yield than the shorter term maturities. So what happened yesterday was that the 2-year bond in the US started yielding giving a higher yield than the 10-year bond. So you're talking that's what you're talking about, a yield inversion. So the shorter term maturity is giving you a higher yield than the longer term.
Okay.
Why this is a concern is because since 1955, this has been a signal that a recession is coming in the US. So investors are really worried about sort of like the global outlook and everything, and that's why you've started to see a sell-off generally. And then to make things worse as well, we saw some data coming out from Germany yesterday that the economy has shrunk 0.1% for the second quarter of the year. So all this added together has sort of just continued to give this the concern about the global outlook. And investors are sort of getting worried about what's going to happen, and that's what's been giving sort of like the sparks about being worried. Bringing it home to Nigeria with all this that's going on, definitely is going to be a cause of concern because Nigeria had already had its own sort of issues. It's been down, like you mentioned, it's down 13.83% year to date. I mean, so when sort of like there's a global worry, everyone's sort of looking at for the next best place to put your money. Nigeria would have been the best destination to do that, but because of the way our own market has been this year, it's not really encouraging. There's not really been any sort of catalyst to encourage investors to put their money in. So I mean, yeah, it's not looking good, generally speaking. Yeah.
Nigeria, really? Thank you. Thank you, Afolabi, for putting that in perspective. Ogudre, you had a thought to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, the world typically has all these bellwethers that when you see, then you're kind of worried that, or investors feel like it's time to pull out my money. So an inverted yield curve is one of those things because typically, the longer the tenure of an asset of a loan, which basically is a bond, the higher the interest. So, but when short-term interest is higher than long-term interest, then
there's a
so
problem.
for people who for investors and fund managers, that's like an anomaly. And when they see that, it's a trigger that it looks like the world is coming to an end, basically. So, and then with what happened in Germany, just like Afolabi said, everybody's spooked currently. And unfortunately, these are the kind of things that we should benefit in Nigeria because I mean, yields are higher here.
Yes.
Assets are cheaper here, but foreign investors are not happy with the way we run the economy, with the way
Even the
pronouncements are
security
being made.
situation, yes, exactly, and
Yeah.
how the government is
Yeah,
even
government can wake up
interfering
tomorrow
in
now and
the
say, you know what? No more cars. We are banning cars in Nigeria.
the government can wake up and say, you know what, I gave a directive to the CBN governor not to release forex. Those
Exactly.
kind
So
of
all
things.
sorts of things, and people get spooked by things like that, and then everybody just runs away. So Anyway,
We
we
laugh
live in a
about it,
very
but
dire
this
world now.
is
Especially when you have, a leader like Trump as well, who
Mm.
like, with the tweet can just send markets in tailspin. So,
Mm.
I mean, everybody just needs to be careful. So,
Gideon sent in a message on WhatsApp. He says, "Please, I want to know what is delaying the release of the first half year report of the Zenith and the GT Bank."
So typically, they audit their half-year results. So it takes a bit longer for them to release. So for quarterly results,
Mm.
companies usually have a month from the end of the period as a deadline to report. But because they are auditing Zenith and GTB,
Mm.
are auditing their results, so we're expecting them anytime, sort of before the end of this month.
Okay.
UBA as well, I think.
Yeah.
UBA,
I
Okay.
think
and
Stanbic as
FCMB,
well.
and
Okay.
Stanbic, yeah.
Yeah.
So, most companies that typically declare dividends
Mm. Mm.
in the first half of the year,
Okay.
like interim dividends, they also have to get audited.
Everybody needs to be audited for sure, especially the government. That it's a tongue-in-cheek moment. Somebody sent in a message here on your WhatsApp. Please add your names to your messages so we can take them. I would like to. Ohio actually says, please, what did you and Afolabi call it? Yield. It's yield curve
Inversion.
inversion.
Yeah.
Do your
Inverted
research.
yield
Yeah, he
curve.
said he wants to do his research.
Go
That's
read
nice.
it up.
So now the Senate is asking the federal government to sell its 40% stake in the discos, distribution companies, to foreign investors. I smiled at this story, but what do you both make of this?
I was gonna say, I'm even
Government
freshly
has no
pressed.
business.
What's Roots up to?
Government has no business being in business, innit?
Yeah, so I mean, government owns 60% of disco, 40% of discos rather,
Mm.
and I think maybe 30% of some generating companies in Genco. So, and 100% of transmission, and there's been this charter about government, pulling out of this distribution companies and wondering why do you want to still own a stake in them.
Mm.
Well, but I guess for government, what's very important right now is to ensure that there's a better investment in the power sector,
Mhm.
and then the policies in the power sector are consistent with what people who want to put their money in there would want to see.
Mm.
And I think that should be the priority of government at the moment. Yeah, you want to divest, but there are other juicier government assets that maybe people would expect government to divest from, and that might be attractive to investors. For
Mm.
example, some of their interest in oil blocks and even the NNPC. So there are a lot of those things that there. An interesting thing was that I think it was a visit from the transmission company to the Senate, and it said it was talking about flipping government assets in distribution companies. I'm
Mm.
sure some distribution companies wouldn't mind anyway,
Mhm.
just so that they can have 100% control. But the key thing basically is just policies that are consistent with what allow investors to put money in there. And for a lot of the private sector owners of the discos, the challenge for them is that look, there's not enough market and driven policies that
Mm.
can allow us put money. They complain of cost reflective tariffs and a lot of stiff regulations. That means that they can't really attract funding, either loans or equity. So
Mm.
I guess
So
those are the things you got to deal with
so it's
first.
not really about the investment
No,
part
no, no,
part
no,
of it.
no, not
It's the
really.
environment.
Yeah, so because a lot of them are underwater,
Mm.
technically, so they're not making profits. So I mean, if government is going to sell, who's going to buy? We've even heard of some private sector disco owners saying, "Look, come on, collect your asset back. This was what we bargained for, and all of that." So, but like I said, what is key is just let's have an enabling a market that is better, and I guess the regulator is looking at this as well. That's why they are coming up with things like MAP, that's the meter asset provider scheme, so people can get metered, and then after people get metered, then you can now go to the next phase of
Yeah.
trying to increase tariffs, and then investments can come in. It's just that it's slow, but I guess
The MAP program, Nature
step by
Assets
step.
Provision in Lagos, I don't see it as being effective as in other states. Like Ondo recently started rolling out. I'd like to say that the last time I checked, though, they said I should go to the website to apply for a new meter, even after I'd applied manually. But that's interesting. The Senate president seems very optimistic in his statement. He says, as stipulated in the Power Sector Privatization Act of 2005, he mentioned that it's not in the interests of governments to keep disbursing bailout funds to discos without commensurate improvements in the power sector. The messages come to WhatsApp 0809 981. Yinka says, so it's ordinary yield curve inversion that's causing this trouble. Strange how
Ordinary.
things
He said
don't
ordinary.
mind him. Strange how things ends looking good in Afolabi's opinion when normal economic principles do not work in Nigeria. It's always strange. Also strange how some are still going on Twitter telling us the future is bright. Is it like the textbooks you guys read in different is different from theirs? Because I'm confused. Thank you, Inka. Oluzio says inverted yield curve. What are the implications for Nigerian T bills markets and observed recent sell-offs? Interesting. That's a question though. Messages on Twitter. The hashtag is Business Express 981. Keep them coming. Let's go to the next story very quickly. Still sticking with power. I'm showing that the electricity deal between Siemens and Nigeria is coming at a hefty price tag. Oh, wait for it. 1.5 trillion naira across just 4 states. Was this an expectation they had before they went into that deal, considering the scale of this project? Was this expected to go?
Yeah, I mean, the investment gap in the power sector is huge, and you're talking about the entire value chain, generation, transmission, and distribution, and you have
Yes.
11 distribution companies. So yeah, you expect that, and that's not even enough. I think that's about maybe $3 or $4 billion a there, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not even enough, but that's just a step towards the kind of stable power supply that we are looking for
So it's
in
a
the
journey.
country. It's a journey, yeah. A lot of the infrastructure we have now were built like years ago, right? Yeah.
Abeokuta still.
Built years ago, and so to build them again,
Yeah.
it's because you got to import all these things, and the
Uh-huh.
exchange rate is still pretty 360, and meanwhile tariffs are priced at, I think they're still priced at 197 or thereabout. So not really easy for these companies to fund them themselves. So that's why Siemens is coming in. So the idea is that Siemens comes in through the German government, provides some kind of funding, and then Siemens then brings in their own equipment and all that. So good business for Siemens. But let's just hope it works, man.
Let's
We're
hope.
all optimistic.
Really,
Because
cautiously
we get this
though.
power thing,
And let's have light.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah.
president's quoting the President Buhari says, we're making an important move towards addressing Nigeria's electricity challenge. Our goal is a simple one, which is to deliver more electricity to Nigerian businesses and homes. It will interest you to know that the deal, it's called the Nigerian Electrification Roadmap. It was signed and presented by Siemens in November of 2018. The deal was facilitated by the German Chancellor Angela Merkel last August. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll run out of time. Thank you so much, Ugo Dre, for stepping in this morning. Ugo Dre is from
Thank you, sir.
Nairametrics. Afolabi Benro is of Stanbic IBTC. Do you have your Twitter account? Maybe you could
yeah,
throw
it's
it out there.
collabs.
For labs.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I just feel that. Not bad.
Not bad at all. All right. For those of you who want to get in on the gist between me and Ugo, it's a private business. All right. Join us at 7:30. We'll go into detailed analysis of our newspaper stories inside of Freshly Pressed 91. For now, great music and smooth.
Beyond the headlines.
What's the Rotus owner part?
Don't mind me, man.
Like,